Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Liv. Today we're talking about a high profile case out of Texas that's caught national attention. Now, the owners of Abby's Bakery in Los Fresnos were just found guilty for hiring and harboring undocumented workers. This case isn't just about one bakery, it's part of a larger shift we're all witnessing in real time. The US government is sending a strong message. This kind of crimes will no longer be tolerated. Here's what happened, okay? So, back in February 2025, Homeland Security investigations and ICE raided Abby's Bakery in Dulce Cafe in Los Fresnos, Texas. Inside, they found 8 undocumented workers. 6 were on visitors' visas that didn't allow them to work, and 2 had entered illegally. Now, when you hear about like visitor visas, they're called B1, B2 visas. These are meant for people who want to visit the US temporarily, either for tourism, like visiting their family, or short term business, like if they have a meeting or conferences. But what they don't allow is employment. So even though 6 of the bakery workers were here legally on those visas, they were not authorized to work. But it wasn't just that they were working there, the bakery owners were also housing them in cramped, unsafe living conditions right next to the bakery. The illegal workers testified about living in a room with mattresses on the floor, cardboards over the windows, and one exit, and hot water available to them just a couple times in 4 months. It's interesting how they treated their own people. Does this sound like compassion? I digress. Here's the news reporting for
Comment?
you.
No comment from the family of the couple who owns Abby's Bakery in Los Fresnos. Today, a jury found them guilty of employing people in the country illegally. Channel 5 Stephanie Rosales sat in on the federal trial. She joins us live outside the federal courthouse in Brownsville. Stephanie, what's next for the couple?
Dina, right now the couple is out on bond until their sentencing, which is set for November. There were emotional moments in the courtroom when that guilty verdict was read earlier today. Family and friends could be seen hugging one another. They were tearing up when the judge read the jury's decision. The couple was found guilty of 3 federal charges, which include harboring and employing people in the country illegally. During the 3-day trial, the government called multiple witnesses, including federal agents and former employees of Abby's Bakery. Those former workers were also in the country illegally. The government argued that the owners of Abby's Bakery knowingly hired people who were here illegally. As for the harboring charge, those former workers in recorded testimony said they were kept in a room near the bakery. They said it made it easier for them to just sleep and go to work. The defense argued the workers were free to leave, adding they were not hidden from the public and that they were not required to sleep in that room. Cesar de Leon represents Nora.
Excuse me if I mispronounced her name. The owner, Leonardo Baez-Lara and Nora Alicia Avila-Guel, were arrested and charged with harboring undocumented immigrants, conspiracy, and aiding and abetting. They were convicted on multiple counts and now face up to 10 years in federal prison and $250,000 in fines each. Sentencing is scheduled for November the 18th, 2025. There's also the possibility they could lose their permanent residency status. Let me say this, when they talk about permanent residency, they're talking about people who have what's commonly called a green card. That status allows them to live and work in the US indefinitely, but it doesn't mean or make them US citizens. And here's the key part, permanent residency is a privilege, not a right. And more importantly, permanent residence does not give them birthright citizenship benefits. If someone with a green card commits a serious crime, like in this case with harboring undocumented immigrants, the government can revoke that residency. That means they can not only lose their legal status, but they can also be lawfully deported back to their home country. So when prosecutors mention the bakery owners could lose their permanent residency, that's exactly what they are talking about. It's not a guaranteed protection. Here is the lawyer speaking about it.
Alicia Avila, and he said he was not happy with the outcome.
We believe that these were hardworking people and they employed hardworking employees and they were just here to make a better living. And I believe that these laws were supposed to target international criminal organizations, stash houses, human trafficking.
Attorney Sergio Villarreal represents Leonardo Baez. He also said the couple are legal permanent residents, but the guilty verdict puts them at risk of losing that status.
We're considering what options they have as to appeals and to see what immigration options they may have.
While they were found guilty on all charges, they are still released on bond. They will have to come back for sentencing again. That is set for November. Live in Brownsville, Stephanie Rosales.
Now, here's why this matters. Most of the time, when businesses are caught hiring undocumented workers, they just face civil fines, right? But this case is different. Prosecutors went after the owners for harboring, and that's rare. The U.S. Attorney's Office made it clear. This verdict shows that immigration laws will be enforced and businesses that exploit undocumented workers for profit will be held accountable. ICE and Homeland Security also said that this conviction should be a warning. If you're employing or housing undocumented workers, you could face serious federal prison time. In other words, this wasn't just about one bakery. This was about making an example and drawing a line in the sand. These crimes will no longer be tolerated. What's interesting is that Abby's Bakery was beloved, like a beloved spot in the community. Some locals defended the owners, saying that they were kind and hardworking. Other ones was outraged, pointing to the unsafe conditions the workers were forced to live in. Now, here's the reality. Being a hard worker or being well liked doesn't excuse breaking the law, right? That's common sense. They are redefining compassion to mean turning a blind eye. When you think about it clearly, many Americans who are loved by their families and communities end up serving jail time for crimes like DUI, theft, drug possession, fraud, or even tax evasion. Their loved ones hurt, their communities miss them, but the law still applies. Now, watch this clip.
Abby's Bakery is a local favorite in this Texas town close to the Mexico border. Residents in Los Fresnos make frequent stops for coffee, cakes, and pastries. So when Homeland Security Investigations agents showed up to the bakery in February and arrested the owners and 8 of their employees, customers were shocked. In a county that voted for Trump last November, some residents are now grappling with the implications. It's a rare case where business owners face criminal charges rather than just a fine.
We're living in fear, even though we're not damaging our community in any way.
When Americans are told that enforcing immigration laws is lacking compassion, that's a form of emotional manipulation. It creates a double standard. If an American is punished by breaking the law, they accept it as justice. But if a non-citizen is held accountable, they're told to look the other way in the name of compassion. Does that even sound right? On top of that, when employers pay undocumented workers in cash, they avoid taxes, which hurt our economy and put an unfair burden on law-abiding workers and businesses. The question is, are Americans allowed to want compassion and justice without being guilt-tripped? So it does raise bigger questions. That's my point. So should their definition of compassion outweigh the law, or should laws always come first in cases like this? So what do you think about this case? Do you think the government is right to make an example out of business owners like this? Or should there be a different approach when it comes to immigration and work enforcement? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective. And don't forget to subscribe and push the notification bell if you found this video helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.